So the great thing about digital ministry is you can edit and you can fix things. The really horrible thing about digital ministry is you can delete them too. So I apologize, but the sermon I had prepared for this, for morning prayer is gone. I deleted it by mistake. So this is my second attempt at it. And for whatever reason, I'm going in a completely different direction than I went the first time. I love reading scripture. I absolutely love reading scripture. I love what it does for me. I love how it inspires me. I love how it speaks to me today, immediately right where I am. I love how it connects with the here and now. I love how it speaks to the moment that we're in, not just for me personally, but it speaks to the world around us. And what I want to talk to you about today is that passage from Matthew that we read. It's that, for those that didn't hear the scripture, it's that passage from the Gospel of Matthew where Jesus sends out his disciples. It names the disciples and he sends them out and he's saying, I'm giving you power over evil spirits. I'm giving you power to cast them out. I'm giving you power to heal, to forgive sins, the whole works. Now go out. And then Jesus gives this long instruction as to how they should go about this task. And the part that I've always had difficulty with in the past has been when he says, if you're received into a town or into a home, then let your peace be upon them. And if they don't receive you, then wipe the dust off your feet and move on. I guess I've always seen that to be that if you go into a community and they don't accept the gospel, then to be done with it and move along. But as I was reading this and I was thinking about some of my friends who are involved in the Black Lives Matter movement and who are working diligently to help educate the population and to build up in all of us a stance of anti-racism, where we're all not just against it, but we're actively working against racism, regardless of who it is that racism is directed at. And I got thinking of the number of defensive people that are in the world, the people that are really having a difficult time understanding that Black Lives Matter doesn't mean nobody else but Black Lives Matter. The number of people that believe that this is, if we say police brutality is bad, then that means we're all against the police. Or, if you're a conservative, you must be against liberals, or a liberal must be against conservative. This polarization that's going on in our community. And I thought, the idea that if you start having a conversation with somebody and they just can't wrap their head around what it is you're saying, then beating them to death with the idea is probably not the way to go. But rather to dust yourself off and to move on. The message will get there. When it's time, the message will get there. And this might not be the time. You may not be the right messenger. And that's okay. And so I guess that's the thing for me. And not just with this moment of political upheaval and transformation, but rather with all of our lives. And not even just from an evangelical or from a ministry perspective, but just from an idea perspective. That just from an innovation perspective, from a sharing perspective, if somebody doesn't like what it is that you're offering, don't take any offense to it. Dust yourself off and move on. If they attack, just go to the next village and start again. It's okay. It's part of it. It's part of the process. And then if you look at that passage from Romans that I actually preached about in the first sermon, Hope comes from character, which comes from endurance, which comes from suffering. The mission that we're on, the ministry that we're on, when we're trying to share love, when we're standing opposed to hate, when we're trying our best to be the people that God's asked us to be in the world, to follow that journey is going to require that we build ourselves up, that we build up our character, that we build up our ability to endure the hard work that is necessary in order for us to get to where we want to be. We don't need to waste our time. We don't need to waste our time trying to beat our ideas into somebody else's head. Leave it be. Stay on track. Stay on mission. Your mission is to share love. And if you encounter somebody that's not able to accept that love, that's okay. Your mission is to be innovative. And if you are surrounded by people that don't want to hear about your innovation, that's okay. Your mission is to share the gospel. And if you're surrounded by people that don't want to hear you share the gospel, that's okay. Just dust yourself off and move on. God's not going to be disappointed with you because that one person wasn't able to grasp what you were saying. God's not going to be disappointed with you that you have moved on. These are his instructions. This part of the gospel starts off by saying there's so much work to do and so few people to do it. We can't spend all of our time trying to get our point through one person. Sometimes we just have to move on to the next one and allow the next messenger to do the work that's needed. God bless you. May God keep you. May God make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May you know the peace of being in God's presence. May you know the joy of living God's life. Amen.